Hello and welcome to Mind Shifters Radio. I'm Tim Hayes. I'm your host for the first hour, and today is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. As always, we're grateful to everyone who's joining us here today, whether you're listening live or through the archives, as we spend another couple of hours teaching and supporting people in using some of the most powerful, effective, efficient, and accessible tools I've ever encountered. These tools are available absolutely free through the tireless efforts of Dr. Michael and Jeannie Rice on the website at whyagain.org. If you go to that website and click on the two words that say Start Here in the upper left-hand corner, it'll take you to a page where you can download and read Chapter 24 of Dr. Michael Rice's book. His book is titled, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And that chapter of the book contains a narrative description and explanation of the primary tool in this work. That tool is called the Reality Management Worksheet, sometimes called the Reality Management Wake-Up Sheet, and it's a tool I've been using to great effect for over 20 years now to improve the quality of my life and most of my relationships, and to turn any negative emotional experience I have into part of the infallible guidance system that each and every one of us has been given. You can also download the actual worksheet process itself. It's a simple PDF file. Click the link, download it, print it off, copy it as often as you'd like, and use it over and over again absolutely free. You can also download from that page a whole host of audio files of shows just like this one, where people have been stepped through the worksheet process. And if you choose to listen to them even repeatedly, they can serve as a powerful tutorial for you to help you get maximum benefit from these tools in the shortest amount of time possible. You can also go to your App Store and type in the three words Heartland Aramaic Forgiveness. If you choose to do that before you're done typing the word forgiveness, you'll see the glowing heart icon. If you tap on that, it will let you download a completely free and private app. It contains the Reality Management Worksheet. It contains an abbreviated version of that worksheet process, and it contains a copy of the Dragon Klingon game, which is a wonderful way to introduce these tools to even younger audiences. We hope people do all of that soon and often, primarily because it tends to improve the quality of people's lives the more they actively apply these tools in their lives. Secondarily, because it tends to prompt comments, questions, answers, and testimonials. If you have any of those to share with us, we would greatly appreciate you doing so. You can give me a call, or you can email me at tjh@mindshifters-academy.org, or you can email Jeannie at jeanie@whyagain.org. That's whyagain.org. And if we get a question or comment from you, we'll address it on the internet show, and then as time allows, send you a notification about what day and time that occurred so you can listen back to the archives for your feedback or your input. And we greatly appreciate whenever anybody does that, because it makes it infinitely easier for us to live into our intention with this work. The intention we have with this work is to be a service, and that is just infinitely easier to do when we know how these things are landing for you. So, alternatively, if you're available, you can join us live. All you need to do is go into Zoom and zoom.us and either open up a browser window or call one of the many numbers that they list that you can call if you have unlimited long distance. And then just enter our meeting ID and you can participate. If you're calling on the phone, you can unmute yourself or mute again with a *6 toggle. And the meeting ID to enter is 853-2357-4173. That's 853-2357-4173. And let us hear from you. Let us know how these things are landing for you. So there's been a lot of activity lately on both hours of the internet show and the support groups. And last night in the support group, we watched an hour interview with Dr. Ingrid Clayton on her upcoming book. It'll be released a week from yesterday. This next Tuesday, her book will get released. The book is titled Fawning, and it's all about understanding fawning as a coping mechanism, stress response, an adaptive process that many of us engage as we are trying to get through life events that we judge as too much in one way or another. So we create the definition of trauma by the energies we download in those situations. And many of us have brilliantly, creatively created a process for surviving when we were younger and surviving very difficult, if not out and out abusive situations. And part of the pattern that we learned to survive and cope with that has now been labeled fawning. So if we can view it as a genius adaptive response, then it makes it far less likely that we will pour a lot of mind energy into the negative thoughts about ourselves when we notice that pattern has come up automatically, especially if we don't like the results that jumping into that pattern as an adult so often brings us, right? The results can be less than optimal when we're a full-fledged adult, chronologically speaking, but we're acting from the coping mechanisms that we developed in our single-digit years or our early double-digit years. Chances are pretty good that we've developed other more suitable, more pleasantly productive coping mechanisms since we were somewhere in our single-digit years. And so if we can get to the point where we notice the urge to kick into the old habit and choose differently, we're quite likely to come up with a better response than if we just stay on autopilot and let our adaptive mechanisms from childhood reveal themselves in our adult lives. So we have plenty of time for discussion or comments. Cami, you have shown your screen. Are you intending to speak up?
Are you talking about me? This is Celinda.
No, because Celinda doesn't show a video. So hold on, Celinda. Go ahead, Cami.
Okay. It says my video's turned off.
It is now. It was on briefly.
So, I mean, I just pulled over to a rest area, but no, I am focused on getting home and just listening as I go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. You're welcome. And deserving. And Celinda, did you have a comment now that you're unmuted?
Actually, I'd like to do a worksheet around fawning and the suggestions given last night in the support group for me.
Okay, and what suggestion was given to you?
Oh, just to sit with a tremor and see what it had to tell me. And some stuff came up. So I thought the stuff was important enough that a worksheet might be in order.
Okay, so what stuff came up? What do you mean stuff came up?
When the tremor happens, it's like when I'm in the spotlight. It's like when I'm being rushed and hurried, or I'm being watched, or there's a particular answer that's wanted from me, or behavior, or anything like that. I'll get a tremor. If I'm nervous physiologically, because I tend towards hypoglycemia, my body will start shaking. I'm sure it has to do with safety, but it also has to do with being observed, watched in a judgmental way, I believe.
Okay. And so when you're aware of that, how do you want to go about processing a worksheet? And which worksheet do you want to use?
Your short mental version.
Okay.
And how I want, can you explain just a tad more what you mean by how I want to process?
Yeah, with a worksheet process, we're usually aware that we
Okay.
either have a negative emotional response or we've got a recurring negative thought going. And so in our worksheet process that is available on mindshiftersacademy.org website on the educational materials page, the first step is to acknowledge that you don't like how you're feeling and put an emotion word on it. So what emotion word would you put on your response to this awareness?
Probably either anxiety or fear. I'm not really clear which one it is. Fear that I will fail, that I won't give the right answer, that I won't be perfect.
Okay, so the emotion is fear. And then this process asks you to take a breath and get centered. And then it announces that whenever I have a negative emotion, it's always going to be the result of me pouring enough of my mind energy into a thought that's creating it. So here you pretty much outlined some negative thoughts. Thoughts that I'm not going to get it right, that I'm not going to be perfect, that I'm going to fail somehow. So figure out which of those statements carries the most emotional energy and use that as step 2.
I'm not going to get it right.
And then what's going to happen? What's your thought about what's going to happen if you don't get it right? You're going to get punished.
I'll be judged.
You're going to get judged. What's going to happen if you get judged? What's the negative impact that you're afraid of?
I'll be disapproved of and rejected.
Okay, so your thought is, I'm going to screw things up and get rejected and be rejected.
Yeah.
So that's what you would hold in your mind as the thought that's creating your fear. So you've got the emotion of fear and your thought is, I'm going to screw this up and I'm going to get rejected. The third step is specify the goal that's already contained in the thought that you just outlined or that you just specified. So what's the goal that's contained in the thought, I'm going to screw up and be rejected? What's the goal that's not getting met?
I want to get it right so I can win the other person's approval or whatever the situation is.
So just keep it simple and stick to the words you already had. So I will be accepted. I want to get I want to get everything right so I can be accepted.
I'm writing this down. Okay.
So now you've got your emotion is fear, and your thought is, I'm going to screw it up and get rejected. And your
And
goal
I
is,
had one more thing. So I can be accepted just as I am.
okay. So there you have it. Now you're set up and ready to do the forgiveness pattern, or the little meditation that you can turn it into. And so the fourth step on that mental short version says, just say the phrase, I cancel my need to be right. I cancel my need for anyone or anything to change, including myself. I specifically cancel my goal in this worksheet. And the goal is to get everything right so that I am
And be
accepted
accepted just as I
just as
am.
I am. And just breathe and soften and put yourself in the most open, allowing space you can. Until you feel something shift or fade, or you notice there's a connection to some significant past life event. If a memory of the past comes up, just go there and see what it has to offer you. Notice how old you are, where you are, who else is there, and what's happening. And just soften and breathe and allow, trusting that anything that comes into your awareness right now is going to be part of what you need to see to begin to heal here and move forward. And just breathe and soften and trust that anything that comes to your awareness, it's all old stuff. You've already lived through it. It can't hurt you any more than it already has. So it's perfectly safe for you to sit there and study it as it washes over you. And keep the breath moving and keep gently reciting, I cancel my need to be right. I cancel my need for anyone or anything to change, including myself. I put my conscious logical mind on the shelf for now, and I ask to be shown the hidden part of my own mind that's actually creating this upset. And stay with that until you feel something shift or fade, or you realize that it's just going to spin and go nowhere. And then scan your body and take a nice deep breath and let it go slowly, and scan your body and notice what's the strongest emotion or the strongest physical sensation you're aware of now.
It's a tingling in my body as I'm doing my best to breathe. Yeah. And I have a memory that came up.
What would that be?
Okay, this is probably the most lucid memory, and I believe I've shared it before, where where I was yelling at my daughter when she was 7, and I had an emotional split. I was my daughter, and I was me yelling at her, and I was my mother. And how horrible that felt for all of us. It sent me to therapy.
Okay, so the thought that came up is of this time when your daughter was young and you were yelling at her. And it comes up
Right.
with such intense emotions that you're crying and trying to speak as you're crying. So I would make a note of that. I would stop talking right now and make as many notes as you can about every little aspect of that memory, this vivid memory. Every sight, every sound, every smell, every physical sensation you can tap into and be aware of, and make notes of it before it escapes you, because it just came up, and it came up with such intense energy that you're crying as you try to speak of it. So just allow it to be what it is and track it. Consciously track it. Make some notes about it. And make as many detailed notes as you can so that any one of those little points, even if you say, I've had this memory my entire life since my daughter was 7, and it's not like it's a repressed memory. I've had it before, and yet, if I've had it many times before, every time it comes up, if I'm willing to look again, look with new eyes, look with a new readiness or willingness or awareness, there's a possibility that I'll see something I'd never seen before in this, which would be the target for my next healing, the target for my next worksheet, the target for my next EFT tapping or breath work. So take some time to make those notes before you move on. And there are times when the most simple, innocuous little detail is the thing that holds the key to me remembering the worst part of the memory or the worst part of the trauma. And therefore, it holds the key to me being able to move past it. So that willingness to make these notes and just have them be there even though they may not make any sense logically, or I can't tie that to any other part of the memory. Just be aware and trust the process.
What comes up when I make these notes is the look on my daughter's face of shame and horror, and my shame and self-hatred for yelling at her because I couldn't stop it.
Okay. So then the standard process that's gotten me so much results is that when I do a worksheet like that, and there's a memory like that, and there's some thoughts about what I was feeling at the time, then I decide to do an entire stack of worksheets on that original memory and the other life events that it might lead to. Like if I start doing a worksheet today on something that happened, 28 years ago when my kids were 7, then when that flashes on something from when I was 5 or 12 or 18, I make notes of that, and those are my next worksheets. And I'm going to follow the thread of memories, energies, associations until it feels like this is a whole new level of clarity and a whole new level of compassion I have for myself, even when I'm thinking about all of these things that were upsetting or that I interpret it as a way that's resonating my upset.
There's one other memory that's coupled with this, because it was the two memories. It was the two events that sent me to a therapist. And the other one was I missed my plane one morning to Hawaii from Kauai. And it was just leaving. And I remembered becoming unglued and running to the door that the passengers would go through and pounding on the door. Thank God it was 7 o'clock in the morning. There was hardly anybody there. Yelling, "Don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me." And that plane was my mother. And I was 3 years old.
And
so those two go together.
so I would start doing worksheets on that second one or start framing them out. And I wouldn't keep talking about them or how they're associated. I would start doing the worksheets. because the more you talk about it and think about it, the further you move from the realizations that you say you want. You have lots and lots of thoughts and rationalizations about your relationship with your mother and how that impacted your life, and it impacted your life with your daughter, etc. You've got lots and lots of thoughts about that. You might notice you've been at those thoughts for decades, and they don't change, and the emotions around them don't change. So with this work, we encourage people to quit all the talking, all the thinking, all the labeling, all the judging, and just start using the tools soon and often. So how would you like support going forward?
That's interesting. Just to be in community with you and know that I am supported when I ask to do a worksheet or ask for clarification or feedback. And thank you, Susan F., for your feedback the other evening, last night. I really appreciate it. I would like to do the EFT tapping. And I'll look into Brad Yates if, I'm not quite sure what to ask for of his tapping that would be the most appropriate, but I think I'll get online and see if there's something that he can help me with in this regard.
Well, the answer to what he might help you with in this regard is going to be contained in the emotion you're feeling when you decide to sit down and do a worksheet.
Okay, it'll be fear, shame, and judgment, self-judgment. Okay.
And then, you can go to the YouTube and type in Brad Yates self-judgment or Brad Yates shame.
Right.
Or Brad Yates fear of rejection.
That's a good one. All right.
And if your algorithm is working well, that'll get some good results for you.
Is my algorithm?
Not yours, the algorithm.
Gotta look that word up. How do you define that word?
Don't worry about it. It's the technology that decides what it shows you when you type in a search word or phrase.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. Anything else we can do to support you today?
No, I think that has been perfect. I'm glad I called in, and I definitely it really is helpful to have the hand-holding that you and the support group do, including the radio show support groups.
All right. I'm glad you think so. And I would be happy to hear your results if you're doing more worksheets on this or get a shift from the EFT tapping session you're talking about doing. So please feel free to keep us posted.
Okay, and I just thought of another goal I have is to have people approve of me when I can't even feed myself because I'm so nervous. Oh, that's a fun one. Okay.
When you can't even see yourself because you're so
See.
nervous?
Feed. I can't get my spoon to my mouth because my arm is just going willy-nilly wherever. And Larry needs me to help him now. So thank you so much. I shall listen.
All right.
Need some help.
All
Okay.
right. Blessings.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead and mute.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
So,
Sorry.
go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, Celinda, thank you for something what you said rung true for me. When you said, and when you were 7 years old and you were yelling at your daughter and you couldn't stop it and holding shame, and then you had a split experience as though it was your mother yelling at you at the same time. That and how that felt for you, and then you couldn't stop yourself doing it to your own daughter. I've also had that. So I understand exactly what you were experiencing in that moment. And I've had a few of those. And for me, just accepting myself as the person who did that, and that's not all of me, number one. And one of my teachers always tells me this as well when I was in deep overwhelm as a parent because I didn't get my needs met as a child, so I didn't know how to show up as a healthy parent. So she would always say to me, you are your child's best bet on your worst day.
Your child's best what?
Bet.
Best
You're
bet.
your child's best bet on your worst day. And, obviously in the scale, as you talk about, Dr. Tim, on a soul level and spirit level, there's a contract made. So that was helpful. Yeah, deeply helpful. So I just wanted to offer that for Celinda. And what's up for me right now, I'm really working to track sensation on the body. And I had an event this morning, and I guess I'm wanting to make sense of it. So I believe it's a past life, or it is in the family system as a past life. I'm not sure. But I see a homeless lady, it might be France, and disheveled, completely disheveled, no money, no anything, and all the feelings that are up with that. I don't matter, I'm not good enough, I'm worthless, I hate myself, hopeless, helpless. And as Celinda was speaking, it's just right front and center. I woke up as I was just being with my body and just going in. And it's probably the deepest I've ever been able to go yet to the sensation it's right in the core of my Sushumna, which is interesting. Yeah, so I just bring that forward to maybe make some sense of it.
Pardon my ignorance. What's the word you're using? It's in the core of your what?
The Sushumna, which is an energy body that runs through, in Sanskrit, they talk about the Sushumna that locks you into the human form. It's called the Sushumna.
And you're feeling what there?
Tension. Right on the right side, right in the inner, it's in the inner core. If you imagine it like a tube, a hollow tube that would run right through the center core of your energetic being. I can feel the constriction right in the center on the right-hand side, right behind my sacred heart, or within my sacred heart. And this is a memory that's coming forward now.
Right. And a memory of what?
Memory of a past life. So,
that is, as you describe, you're very disheveled and maybe in France, and you're in a situation that you would label as what?
I'm going to say hopeless.
Okay, hopeless.
And helpless and powerless.
And is it more the physical sensations or the emotions that you're tapping into?
It feels both. It feels, but I can feel the sense of people walking by and looking at me with disgust. No food, and it's almost like burlap sack, wearing that, and like dirty clothes. I could smell myself. Like it's a really just a really odorous smell. And yeah, I can feel as though I'm right there, believe it or not. I'm actually right there. I can see the whole scene in my mind. And there's a inner feeling of completely giving up, that it's hopeless, powerless. And there's another word that's coming just now. It's called forlorn. And I don't even know what that word means, to be forlorn.
Yeah, I think you do.
Am I describing
I
it?
think you're describing it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Hopeless,
Okay.
helpless, bereft,
That's
empty,
that's it.
poverty-stricken,
That's it.
desolate,
That's it. That's all of those things.
in high levels of negative judgment of self. Yeah, that's forlorn.
You know what? That feels as though, yeah, that's at a root of a family system. I don't even want to put language to it. That's at the root of everything. That's all I can, all the stories and that is playing out. But yeah, I can actually feel as though I'm there, and it's just, I can feel a tension and a pain on the right
So,
hand
so
side. Yeah.
here's the best next step that I have to offer.
Okay.
If there's any kind of questioning for what the heck do I do with this now,
Yeah.
the answer
Okay.
for me would be I would just be with the sensations and imagine your negative judgments against yourself as you talk about the image. And I would be working within myself to be able to think lovingly and to lovingly engage that individual in my memory, in my felt sense, in my history, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Okay.
And so I would have to do worksheets on, being acceptable even when I'm disheveled or unclean or when I can't get to the shower or when I'm poor. I would be doing the worksheets and or the EFT tapping and breath work that would allow me to dismantle my negative judgments against myself or anybody else who happens to be undergoing or experiencing those events, those kinds of events. And then I'm out of the figuring it out business and I'm into the forgiving it business. I'm into the process of dismantling the negative beliefs in my own mind.
Okay. Thank you. I'll start that
What's
today.
what's that start stirring up for you?
Yeah, there's just emotion there. I don't even, I don't even meaning make out of it. It's just,
Okay, so would these tears be angry tears, sad tears,
I don't even know.
confused tears? Well, but you don't have to know, but you can sit with it and you can ask and you'll get the answers.
I feel overwhelmed.
Okay, so your thought is overwhelmed. What emotion goes with that? Resignation, shame, grief,
Grief.
anger, frustration.
Yeah, grief. Yeah, grief is, that's for me.
And where in your body do you feel the strongest sensation that you're tying to this word grief right now?
And my sacred heart and my liver.
Okay, so rather than naming it like an actual physical organ like liver, just concentrate on that area of the body where you're feeling this without labeling it. And just get as specific as you can about the physical sensations that you're experiencing. How large or small is it? Is it like the size of a ping pong ball or a bowling ball?
On the right-hand side, about the size of, it's a square going on the right-hand side of my chest.
Did
Right
you
from
say a
the
square?
square, yeah.
Okay.
Actually more of a rectangle, being long, going on it's on the right side of my torso, right from the Sacred Heart to the outer part of my body.
And is there a color associated with it?
I'm going to say gray to black.
Gray to black? Okay, is there a temperature associated with it?
I want to say yes, but I can't perceive it.
Well, if you want to say yes, do you want to say warm or cold? Hot or cool?
Hot.
And so you've got this black to gray rectangle, and it's got a temperature of hot. And is there any movement associated with this discomfort in your chest?
I can feel it moving up and vibrating all the way up to my head.
Okay, so there's movement of the actual object moving up to your head, or just the vibrations coming off of it moving up to your head?
It feels like it's on the inside of it, in the inner core of it, moving up to my head.
So is there any other quality, whether it's size, shape, color, temperature, texture, movement, any other quality that you can get clear about in this energy or sensation you're experiencing?
Nausea.
Okay. So now get really clear about this energy, this rectangular gray-black thing that's hot, that's vibrating and moving and associated with nausea, that just speak directly to the sensation in your body and ask it, when is the first time you got put into my body? And just breathe and soften and trust any image that comes to your awareness. Notice how old you are, where you are, who else is there, and what's happening in response to this question. When's the first time you got put into my body?
Show me that life, right? That blackness, a black cloud, but I can see the image of that disheveled woman in wherever that is. I can see the street scene. And it goes back to her childhood, being in an orphanage.
So do this little visualization. See yourself as you are today, as the adult that's engaged in this Zoom call and doing this processing. See yourself dressed just the way you are now. Walk into that scene in that orphanage and go up to that little girl and just energetically share with her, I'm you all grown up. And notice how you feel toward that little girl who's in the orphanage and how the little girl in the orphanage feels toward you. When you've shared enough energetically that it's really clear to both parties that you're one and the same consciousness. What happens when you do that, and how do you feel toward the little girl in the orphanage, and how does the little girl in the orphanage feel toward you?
He's up against the window, just looking at me with fear and distrust. And I'm just letting her know that I am you. And I'm just going down to her level. She's sitting there. I'm actually lowering myself to be in eye contact with her directly. Just letting her know, keeping my distance. But letting her know that I'm here and that I'm her.
And as that happens and she gets the communicated message that you're her and she's you, how does she feel towards you? And how do you feel towards the little girl in the orphanage?
Well, I'm looking at that little girl. I just want to love her, and I want to fawn, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to be in her space and let her know that I've got us and that she's safe now.
And how does she feel towards you?
And now that I'm saying that, the energy's changing and she can actually feel it, and is looking at me with curiosity.
Okay.
And willingness to be in my presence.
Okay. So now that she's got the willingness to be in your presence, just be with her in any way you want. It's your visualization. You can be there any way you want, anytime you want, anywhere, with anyone, doing anything. And be with her in that presence and just gently ask her, what does she need from you to feel better right now? And just spend a few moments or minutes creating a visualization that gives that younger part of yourself from the orphanage many, many years ago exactly what she needs to feel better right now from you, recognizing that you're asking her, what does she need from you to feel better right now? And just take your time and do the visualization, realizing that you're in complete control here. You can go anywhere, do anything, to be anyone, with anybody else, wherever you want to go at any other time. So with all the restrictions lifted, what happens in the visualization is completely up to you.
She just wants to be loved in my presence.
Okay, and so you do that and take her someplace or create a scene where she's feeling that she's loved in your presence and you're feeling that she's able to let it in, etc.
I just put her in a feather down, 1,000 thread count sheets bed with all the big, beautiful pillows and letting her feel the opulence, experience that in her love, in my love, tucking her in.
Okay, so stay with that
Yeah.
and get a picture of it. And the only restriction on the picture is that anybody who looks at it is going to instantly know. The adult feels good about herself, the child feels good about herself, and the two of them are thrilled to be able to be together.
Yeah,
When you
I'm in
get
the
a
bed.
picture like that, all right, then put a frame around it and tell me what color or colors would be in that frame.
I just see us both in the bed and beautiful setting. It's a beautiful, ornate golden frame.
And when you think of that beautiful, ornate golden frame, what emotion are you aware of inside yourself?
Except motion, I want to say. Words like safety and joy are coming up, but
All
safety
right.
is not an emotion, is it? I don't know what
Okay,
the
so
emotion
that's
goes with
fine.
it.
So just take that beautiful picture and that beautiful color in that frame and start moving it through every fiber of your being, from the top of your head down through every nerve and muscle and bone and sinew and organ and cell and blood vessel. Just move that healing energy down from the top of your head through every space in your body until it feels complete, sweeping away stress and tension, allowing you to dissolve it and sweep it away so it's moving down your body and out the bottoms of your feet. And then start again at the top of your head and just keep moving that energy until it feels complete. It might take several repetitions, might take more, but breathe into that and notice what that's like. And when it feels complete, then try a nice deep cleansing breath. And then as you let it go slowly, scan your body and notice what you're feeling. And tell me, what was that experience like to connect with that little girl in the orphanage?
Yeah, there's still just a little piece, but big relief, and has not felt. She feels seen, and maybe doesn't even have language for it yet, for her experience.
Well,
But
if
it
you just
is.
breathe
Yes.
into that and make the commitment to yourself and this younger version that you'll reconnect daily for this next week. And all you need in that reconnection, whether it's moments or minutes, is that you feel the connection, you let yourself feel what you're feeling like when you reconnect with her, you let yourself feel what she feels like when you're reconnected, and then you just ask her, what does she need from you to feel better right now?
Yeah. And the word is that you asked me earlier, what do I feel? It feels like peace. That would be the word I would say. It feels peaceful. There's a
And as you
calm.
do that, as you connect with her, if you have the willingness to connect with her, just keep your eyes and ears peeled for, okay, what's the next good worksheet for me to do as the adult in this scene, or for this little girl in the orphanage to do? And step through the work with her, either for yourself or for her, or the two of you working together.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Yeah, I was like, I was right there. Yeah.
Well, whenever anybody says that, I just remind them to try and take a breath or two, and sometimes even shake the energy out so you get grounded as the adult here in this scene before, especially before you make a call to somebody or go drive a car or something,
Yeah.
because there can be these altered states of consciousness that we enter, and especially if we've had a habit of using dissociation as a protective
Mm-hmm.
mechanism in the past, there are a lot of us who are walking around who aren't all that tuned into when we are awake and aware in the moment or partially dissociated, etc. So strengthen that awareness and get grounded as the adult, and then to whatever degree you are willing to share, let us know how the work continues.
We'll do that. Yeah, thank you so much. More worksheets to do. I feel a sense of peace I've not ever felt, which is interesting. Ah, yeah, thanks a lot.
You're entirely welcome and deserving. And I just want to caution people from the perspective of the non-being mind that always wants to figure these things out, that you don't have to believe in past lives. You don't have to believe in reincarnation. You don't have to believe in we're all one or multiple souls. And yet, if you do this kind of work, you can unload whatever unpleasant baggage is up for you to unload in your system. And you can do it with the worksheets, or you can do it with the breathing, or you can do it with the EFT tapping, or the combination. Um, you can do it with things like Diedrich Wolzak's Choose Again worksheet. And as soon as I say that, I think, okay, there's probably a person or two who was in one of our groups recently who was asking for that. And if you didn't get it, if you're on the call now, speak up, or if you're listening to this, um, please send me another reminder. I've sent it to a couple people already. It's the Diedrich Wolzak PDF about his 6-step forgiveness process that used to be on his website, easy to find, and now it's not there. But I had downloaded it, and so I offer to send that to people to kind of either help them start using the tool or to whet their appetite to look more into it, and maybe watch some more interviews with Diedrich, or you can go back and watch the interview I did with him about, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago now. And that's on the On Your Mind podcast, available through onyourmindpodcast.org or journeysdream.org/podcast. So we have some time, or we have 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes for a question or a comment.
Yes, I was the one you were going to send the Dietrich Wolzak stuff to, his 6 steps.
Okay, and
Celinda.
Sally is also, so I will do Sally, and I believe Cammie might have been one who requested it. I'll double check and make sure that
I did
if,
request that, please.
okay,
Thank you.
Thank
so Sally and Celinda and Cammie. All right, any other comments or thoughts for Susan and her processing, or other thoughts to take the topics in our next few sessions, since we're down to our last few minutes here?
Yes, I
When
want to thank.
Susan,
Just a minute, go
go
ahead,
ahead, Sally.
Sally.
Oh, I want to thank Susan so much. That took a lot of courage, and I was breathing with you every second. And your willingness and courage are just awesome and touch my heart deeply. Thanks.
And Susan, what you went through just deepened my awareness. Mine had to do around rejection, being thrown out of the family and dying, literally physically dying, because I was thrown out into the wilderness. So I have more work to do. Thank you. You just notched it up another step for me. Thanks so much.
All right, well, I thank you all for being here and being willing to do your own work and participate as others share theirs. And I will remind us all that we come from love. We're made of the stuff that we call love. We actually are love.